Bad vision in the local church might actually make things worse. I'm Chad Brooks. I'm the Congregational Vitality Strategist in the Louisiana Conference United Methodist Church, and I want to talk about popcorn vision. Now, popcorn vision is this phrase I use for when we just don't pay attention to what does it mean inside of the visioning process, and we just kind of have this generic all over the place approach to what the vision of the local church might mean. And the vision of the local church is really, really important, and it's not an end-all, be-all, but it's the way that we're directing our ministry towards fulfilling the Great Commission in the places where we live. What I want to share with you is a handful of qualities of popcorn vision, and for you to kind of grow some awareness of what this might look like. Now, if you're interested in this sort of things, I write regular emails for pastors and leaders of normal-sized churches. You can get the link to that in the description below. But let's talk about some of these qualities of popcorn vision. First, this is vision for the sake of vision. So many times I get a call from a church, and I serve over 260 churches, and they want to do some vision work, and they want to do it every single year, and they feel like, okay, if we do a vision in January, that's going to fix all of our problems. Vision for the sake of vision is a dangerous thing. Vision needs to be contextual, vision needs to be unique, and vision needs to happen with a very, very clear understanding of what is the missional purpose of the congregation. We should not take visioning lightly. I sometimes groan when I hear the word vision, and I think I probably groan, as some of you might be groaning. Some of you might have clicked this video to see, like, how can we throw some shade at this guy for talking about it, because we have a bad approach. People just think that it's the silver bullet that's going to change everything. As long as we have a vision, we'll be able to move forward. I've been part of some organizations that have less than stellar vision statements and approaches to vision. Also, sometimes vision for the sake of vision is just, hey, we're going to declare this sentence, and once we've declared that sentence, we're going to continue doing what we have always done, and it should be better because we have a vision statement. The second thing, and this one's a little bit more nuanced, is that we have this value of group creation across the entire process. Now, whenever I do this work with churches, I do tons of exercises, probably several different workshops and conversations with the whole congregation, with also the pastor and the leader, to make sure that we're having so many opinions, stories, and so much things that we can, is almost like a prior data workflow before we even begin to create some sort of vision statement. So it has to be done in community. But where you see this kind of come into play, that we're going to value the group creation of every single thing, is oftentimes because I find there is a fear that unless everyone loves this thing 100%, it's going to fail. And you can just beat the vision horse until it's absolutely dead. A point in time will come when the key leadership and the pastor have to be willing to 100% not just own it, but hone it. This creating of it, and also, talking about how are we going to push this thing forward. That cannot be left up to the entire body. There is a level of leadership at the top tiers that absolutely have to happen once all of the big group work has been done, to where there's prayerful discernment on how we're going to specifically articulate this thing in order for our church to meet other people and to reach other people for Jesus Christ in our mission field. The third thing is that when we allow the emotional or the subjective to take hold. Now, this is incredibly important with congregations that on the age scale kind of just fit inside of one bucket, because they will leave a lot of people out, especially if that age bucket is older, because religious behaviors and beliefs and expression has changed dramatically over the last 20 or 30 years, specifically in a couple of different points in time, and then also specifically with a couple of different age demographics. And it's really easy for what I think it is for us to just grab onto this thing that we might have valued a lot when we were younger, and now we're 40, 50, 60 years older, and we're trying to establish that same set of values in the exact way that we experienced it. And it can make us just be pretty negative towards other people, whether they're different than us in age, they're different than us in race, they're different than us in education level or socioeconomic backgrounds, all of those sorts of things. It's also when we get really, really nervous, we like to live in anxiety land. That's that's where conflict begins to kick in. I've seen so many churches just absolutely just nosedive themselves in anxious conflict during a visioning process because they're allowing the emotional or the subjective to take hold. We have to sit inside of a strategic mindset, of a proactive rather than a reactive mindset. We have to sit inside of an objective mindset. I use tons and tons and tons of data, not just of congregational stories, which are the first piece I like to work from, but from demographic software and other sorts of studies. So this church knows exactly who they are, what their engagement and attendance and all these sorts of things about them has been historically, and also what is the data of the people around them. Data lets us stay objective and proactive rather than subjective and reactive. And the last thing about this is when we allow what we feel to be what we want. And if you're catching the vibe that these last three are kind of all related, it's because they are all related. But it's really difficult for us to say, hey, well, no, this is the thing that we want. And so let's just find a way to maybe wordsmith what we want into some sort of future perspective so we don't have to deal with radical change too much and we don't lose these things that are just that initial gut level reaction that we might have as we enter into a vision process. Sometimes I work with churches that are entering into a vision process when they are healthy and they're really wanting to push forward. Sometimes they are not healthy, but they know they're not healthy and they know that there's going to be a place to move forward. And then sometimes I see churches think that vision work will help fix the problems they're unwilling to actually confront. And so that what we feel is what we want has the ability to really negatively drive this understanding of vision. So I hope that you stay away from popcorn vision. Let's come hang out wherever you see this video in the comments, and let's just talk about what having an anti-popcorn vision approach to this thing might be. And I'll see you back in the next video.